we started is Global Classroom. The Global Classroom or Global Shared Learning Classroom is the first format that we started, and these Global Shared Learning Classroom experiences are placed within the context of each of the courses at Tec de Monterrey and our partner institutions. We concentrate the efforts on the interaction of and development of skills to educate for global citizens, as I mentioned before, and to contribute to the Sustainable Development Agenda. These experiences that are integrated in the courses could be extended through the entire semester or course, depending of the or it could be just one module. What we suggest to our faculty is that they could consider a minimum duration of 4 weeks. But how do we do this, and how we are working with so many institutions? Probably some of you have heard of the Coil methodology. And for those who haven't heard of it, I'm going to explain a little bit. It's the COIL means Collaborative Online International Learning. And this methodology, it's a very flexible, very intuitive methodology for faculty and also students to collaborate. This methodology started many years ago by John Rubin at the SUNY State of New York University. And this suggests to split the international experiences online in in 3 main activities: an icebreaker, a collaborative activity, and a final reflection. So many of our partners or many universities around the world are starting to integrate this methodology in their courses, and that's how we align to so many of our partner institutions. But we wanted to do a little bit more beyond the COIL methodology. So this is the structure that we're doing, and it's working very well for us at Tec de Monterrey. First of all, of course, our faculty starts thinking of what kind of experience I want to provide in my course, and to find a common objective with their international partners. And then they can find similar topic of interest, even from the same discipline or different disciplines. The Sustainable Development Goals are most of the time a very good opportunity to have common objectives and a very interesting experiences as well. And we integrate this global classroom. Of course, we start, as I mentioned before, we recommend, especially for those that start the first time, to think of an experience of 4 weeks. And the first one is with the icebreaker is a very simple activity where the students and the faculty start engaging through the cultural exchange. They start exchanging information about their professional life, their culture, their university. And then we move forward to the multicultural activity, and this is of course the main part of the collaboration. We suggest the professors to split these activities into different steps because we are working with partners from around the world with different time zones. We work with so many differences in our academic calendar. So as a way to keep a similar rhythm of work between our students and our international students, just to have this different tasks or activities or in different steps, so that their students can have a very easier way to coordinate with their team and start exchanging ideas, and then move forward probably around the second week into work together into a group discussion and developing something that they will a presentation to integrate everyone's opinions around the subject. There could be many different strategies that the faculty could integrate in this multicultural activity. We have professors that have been doing a challenge-based activity. There are others that are doing method case study, different strategies that they are implementing in these multicultural activities. And also at the end, we have a reflection, not just to reflect on what happened in the multicultural activity, but into the entire experience of working with people from different countries, different languages, different professors as well. And everything is, of course, supported by the technological tools. We use different tools to allow this synchronous and asynchronous activities between our faculty, our international faculty, and the students as well. So we have been doing this, as I mentioned, we started probably around 2018 with the pilot projects, and then we launched this initiative of Global Classroom in our undergraduate programs in 2019, and we find out that the benefits extended not just for the students. Of course, the faculty we apply a survey for our students and for the faculty, the international students, the international faculty as well. And we have heard about these benefits. It's not just the international experience for everyone. For our students, this is strengthening their global learning through the cultural exchange. They feel like these are more inclusive international experiences for everyone. Of course, the development of skills, that was what we were trying to accomplish. They also have this perception. They develop skills such as intercultural communication, teamwork, technology, significant learning, and also we provide a digital badge, not just for Tec de Monterrey students, but also for the international students that complete successfully these activities of the Coil methodology. We have some guidelines and requirements to obtain that digital badge, but they feel that it's one of the benefits of participating. For our professors, of course, besides the international experience, it's a networking opportunity. It helps them to develop also their professional development, right? The achievement of learning and the goals of their courses as well. It becomes a differentiator for their courses. Some students are starting asking, how can I enroll in this global classroom experiences? What courses provide these opportunities? And that has become a differentiator for us at Tec de Monterrey. Of course, something that happens beyond the global shared learning classroom is that this vast research opportunities, publication opportunities for our faculty. They are writing papers together with their international partners. They are publishing articles. They are participating in Congress, presenting the results of this collaboration. So that's something that our faculty appreciates a lot. And they obtain as well a certificate of participation. Again, not just Tec de Monterrey professors, but our international partners as well. We provide this certificate of participation to validate from the Vice-Rectory of International Affairs and the Vice-Rectory of the faculty that they have participated and integrated these experiences in their courses. This is a little bit of what has happened since 2019. We have developed over 450 global classrooms, more than 50,000 students from Tec de Monterrey and our international partner institutions have participated in these experiences. Over 350 professors from Tec de Monterrey and our international partners institutions have participated. We have been working with more than 125 universities around the world in 33 countries. but how did we get here? How this we get into this? Because I know many institutions, of many of you are thinking of starting or participating in this kind of collaboration. So it didn't happen from in a blink of an eye as we wish. Of course, the pandemic started, and we started with a few courses in 2019, and then with the pandemic there was I don't know, the faculty were looking for more ways to engage the students into this digital environment. And it was one of the tools that the faculty told us that it was very beneficial in this digital world, and through these difficult times that we were all experiencing, to share with people around the world, that we were experiencing similar things. It was very important. But I'm going to tell you a little bit more of how did we this global shared learning initiative became a part of the institutional strategy. So we had a lot of support from our leaders at the institution, of course, at the Vice Rectory of International Affairs. They have helped us to find a way to integrate this, to get the resources that we need. We have learned a lot. We have made mistakes as well, but we have done this as part of an institutional effort. So that's a very important thing to talk about. Also, we have learned that we have at Tec de Monterrey, it's a big university. We have 26 campuses. We have you know, the business programs, architecture programs, engineering, and different disciplines. So we wanted to provide some guidelines and requirements so that every student, it doesn't matter what discipline, it doesn't matter where they are, which city, which campus they're participating, they have a common structure. And that's why we integrate the Coil methodology, but also the Sustainable Development Goals, and also all sort of recommendations and guidelines, so to make a very structure that it was easier for everyone to participate. We have been doing efforts to engage faculty and students with some incentives that we provide during the process, and that's of course something that we have learned and developed through these years. We provide training for our faculty as well. We couldn't be able to do this without our international partnerships, and that's why for us it's very important to share here today about these opportunities, because we are looking to extend these collaborations with more universities. And of course, the global learning mindset that and the UN Sustainable Development Goals that makes align objectives and goals with different institutions have been something that has helped us to obtain these results. We have done also internal alliances, not just the Vice Rectory of International Affairs is working on this. We have, as I mentioned before, talked to our faculty development area so that we can join forces into providing training and some incentives for our professors. We have also talked to our experts on technology at Tec de Monterrey, so we can find the best technological tools to implement these digital environments. And of course, the Global Classroom team, my team, it's a very dedicated and very passionate group of people that has been providing the support for all our professors and even our international professors as well. And just to make sure that they all have a very important, very enriching experience. And they we are guiding our professors through this whole process. But I know that there might be some questions about how we are doing, and probably you want to learn more. And that's why we wanted to share just a little bit, a taste of what's going to happen next in our General Assembly in Monterrey, in Mexico. We want to talk more about our global shared learning initiative, about not just the global classroom that I mentioned. We have also other formats like Global Week that is similar objectives and similar experiences, but in just 1 week, international professors and students can interact with our community at Tec de Monterrey. So please join us in Monterrey, Mexico in November. We are going to continue sharing more about this initiative. And of course, I'm going to stop here just in case there are questions that we can answer today. Thank you very much again for the invitation. And I'm going to share this presentation with you in the chat. I'm gonna share the link of this presentation. And so I hope if you have interest of participating in this and or learning more or engaging your faculty or in these activities, please contact us at Global Classroom at itesm.mx. And I'm going to, as I say, share this so you can have all the links, all the information. And again, thank you, and please ask any question you want.
Thank you very much, Giselle. It's really surprising and very good. Everything that you have done is very impressive. So we have time for a couple of questions. We can also have questions in the chat, and Giselle can help us answering them in the chat. But we do have time for a couple of questions live right now, if anybody has anything to ask to Giselle. Well, sounds good. So she's right there in the chat in case you have any questions. Thank you very much, Giselle, for sharing the presentation and all this information. And we will definitely discuss more about this and about potential COIL initiatives during our next General Assembly meeting right there in Monterrey. Thank you very much. So we will continue. Thank you, Giselle. Aris has a question. Go ahead, Aris.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Giselle, for your presentation. It was great. Sorry about that. I'm just putting my mask off. So, yeah, my question would be, I guess, depending on the term that we would like, let's say, to participate with some professors, what is usually the deadline if you have like a call to accept new professors or to do that match?
Yeah,
how does it work? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a very, very important question. We just started our call for interest at Tec de Monterrey a couple of weeks ago. Last semester, we received almost 200 proposals from Tec de Monterrey faculty. Some of them already have a partner, but some of them, they are helping us to help them, as you mentioned, to find a partner around the world. So we are going to have in October a networking session. I'm going to share with all of you, probably through, I hope Sylvia can help us to extend the invitation and or share it to all the group so that you can share this with your faculty and they can join us and find partners at Tec de Monterrey, again, from different disciplines. And we have guests from many other institutions. So this is an opportunity to find a partner, not just at the Tec de Monterrey, but in our group as well. And that's how we do it. We started first with a call for interest with our faculty at Tec de Monterrey, and then we do some efforts with our international partners. We will share with you as well around October the list of our faculty that is looking for a partner, and with this list you will find important information, what course they want to link in a global classroom, how many students, when do they want to do this, in which month or module, what topic. We provide all these basics and even a video of our professors explaining what they want to accomplish. And this will help you to share it with your professors. And probably that's how they can find if they are interested, they are doing something similar, and then start the conversations through the networking sessions, or even in individual sessions or explorative calls, as we call it.
Thank you so much. That's actually really good, and yeah, I'll be looking forward to that call to then share it here with our professor. Thank you.
Giselle, and we have a very good question in the chat. If you can answer that question very briefly. Do you support your academics or partner academics to create the links to develop these programs, or is everything is bottom up, or is top bottom? I mean, typically the faculty find their partners, or do you support them to find partners in a different university, for example?
I will say it's a teamwork. We provide different opportunities, but our faculty has to engage in get involved into finding the right partner. We provide some profiles from our different professors, but it's important for them to analyze which is the best option for them and start the conversations. But we do provide support through the whole process, through the Global Shared Learning Classroom team. We since the matchmaking, or since the planning of these activities, we provide recommendation. Through the implementation of these experiences, we provide support with the digital environment. We provide support if there are challenges, that of course there will be challenges, and we can help them through that. Even in the closure with this, we provide some of the information that we gather from our surveys as well, so they can improve. And of course, we want to promote the continuity of these experiences. Of course, it's going to make a major effort, or it's going to take extra work the first time. But the second, the third one, you continue this experience with the same partner. It's not, it's very easy. We have professors that have done over 10 global classrooms. They are extended to a second or third course. So they find it that they already learn what they have to do, and it's easier for them to continue working with their international partners without extra work.
Excellent. Well, Giselle, thank you very much. So we expect to continue discussing more about this during November. Looking forward to go and visit you. Now we pass to the second part of this webinar, and it's Mirko. You all know Mirko. He helped us with everything that is related with funding related with the European programs. He will present us some opportunities to take us to the next level. That's the name of the presentation. And we expect that based on what we discussed today and some actions that we will take from today up to the General Assembly, we can arrive to the General Assembly and spend some of our time there actually working on the proposals and trying to advance in some of those proposals for those partners interested in participating. So Mirko, welcome. Thank you very much, because you are always willing to share with us all this information, and you can start whenever you are ready.
Yes, thank you, Silvia, and good morning and good afternoon to everybody. I share my screen now. We have, as you remember, we have talked already about this topic a number of times. And in the past, we organized some training sessions, and it was done also by Rui in the past years. But now, together with Silvia and the follow-up committee, we decided to move more to action and try to coordinate the efforts and not just
sorry, Mirko, you have shared the screen
the
for
mode.
the presenter mode.
Yeah, it's
in
in
the
the
presentation.
You can change in display settings, probably.
Yeah, okay, because on my big screen, I see it as it should be. I wasn't looking at the...
Okay.
Now, is it better?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So when you have two screens, usually one is not responding. So as I said, we try now to coordinate more the action. And the reason for this is that we know that Magallanes is relying a lot on the SMILE program, but there are other opportunities, and there's been already experience in that sense. So this is a good way to expand the cooperation to other sectors and other modes of collaboration. We had a number of information sessions, but we noticed that if we leave this entirely to the individual initiative, it's difficult that something will actually happen in this framework. At least it will become some kind of bilateral collaboration, but it will have no impact on Magallanes as a network. So we are trying now to push forward new ideas, especially based on the experience of the European partners in this sense. We started a long time ago. So far, I don't think we have any externally funded projects that are actually labeled as Magallanes, and this would also be a good way to boost the visibility of the network as a whole, if we have some funded projects that refer to Magallanes as a network. And as you know, you can't have projects that involve directly all the members as full partners due to funding issues and the size of the budget for this kind of projects. But of course, if we succeed, then the benefits would be for all the partners. And of course, all the partners will be informed, at least at the General Assembly, about the achieved results, hoping for some multiplier effect in the future. And for this reason, before summer, we uploaded a table, and you all were invited to access to it, so that we can have a shared platform for project ideas and have an overview constantly on who is interested in what. This idea was already launched last year, but this year we actually have something concrete online. And when we talk about now, of course, this is just a session to remind you of what we have done and what we are planning to do. So we don't go into detail because that would take many hours. But as we have discussed already in the past, we have a number of tools under Erasmus+. There are also some other people here in the virtual room who work with this, so they know about it. We have identified these 4 actions within the Erasmus+ program that might be used by Magallanes. We all know about the international credit mobility. This is just a reminder. This is bilateral collaboration for student mobility based on the experience of Erasmus, the European Erasmus. It was opened already some 7 years ago, also to non-European partners, and this initiative for this should be taken by the 2 universities, and the European one applies for the grants for the mobility between the 2 universities. It's also possible to have networks of universities from the same country, so this is also another opportunity for Magallanes, but this is something that should be coordinated bilaterally. And then we have the capacity building for higher education, the Erasmus Mundus joint masters, and the Erasmus Mundus design measures. And now there is a slide for each of them to remind you about what they are. The capacity building in higher education, there will be a second call. Last year, the information came very late. There was no time to organize anything, not only within this consortium, but in general. But there will be a new call, hopefully a bit earlier this year. The deadline is usually at the beginning of the next year. This poses some issues. We think that you have in Latin America your vacations at that time, so that's why we decided to start very early. Now we have seen the call, we know the contents. There would be very few changes, if any, so we can start working in advance, and then we don't have to rely on your vacation period for finalizing the project. Under this capacity building for higher education, one of the main problems with this is that as the title says, the idea is that the European partners of the consortium bring to the table their experience in a specific field and offer their support to the non-European partners to develop in some of these aspects. And now here in this network, we have very excellent and knowledgeable people and universities. So it's a bit more difficult than in other cases, but we can find definitely areas in which the Latin American partners have needs and can take advantage of the experience of the European partners that maybe have been working with one of these specific topics for longer. This part of the program is organized in 3 strands, so-called. The first one is to foster access to cooperation in higher education for smaller universities or universities from remote areas or universities that don't have experience in this program yet. So it's a bit difficult to understand what they mean with this, but these projects are smaller, are easier to write. They're also smaller, but I suspect that it doesn't suit Magallanes 100% unless you, the university from Latin America, invite other partners from your country, from remote regions, or that don't have experience in this. The strand 2 is for partnerships for transformation in higher education, and this seems to be the most suitable. You choose a topic or a field in which the Latin American partners need to develop still, and the Europeans provide experience in that sense. And then we have the third one, which is structural reform projects. This is more at national level, meaning that in this case you have to involve also ministries and decision makers from your country. And the main difference is that in strand 2, the expected impact of the projects is at the institutional level, meaning that what you can do here is to develop new programs, is to enhance the capacity of your international office, develop services for society, and so on. In the third one, the impact should be at national level, meaning that you look into reforms, legal aspects, and something that can be fixed only at national level. And they are feasible, but much more complicated. Here we talk about multi-country project because there's also possibility to have projects for one single country, but that doesn't really suit Magallanes in this sense. So we would suggest to go for the multi-country project, meaning that you have to have in the consortium a minimum of 2 eligible third countries, so 2 countries in Latin America with at least 2 universities per country. So that makes 4 universities minimum in the consortium, and minimum 2 EU member states or other countries from Europe that are associated with the program. And that means you have to have minimum 1 higher education institution per country, not 1, 2. So at the end, the minimum size of the consortium is 6 because you have minimum 2 from 2 different countries in Europe and 4 from 2 different countries in Latin America. And then you can, of course, expand on that and invite a third country or have more than 2 universities per country. As I said, for the third strand, you also have to involve the ministry. And the number of partners from Europe should not be higher than the number of partners from Latin America because the expected impact is in Latin America in our case. So this is just the framework. You have the duration of the project. In the case of strand 2 is between 24, not between, actually it's 24 or 36 months. You have to decide in advance based on the ambition you have in your project. If you go for the third one, which is the more political one, you can have it up to 48 months. Because usually this type of reforms take much longer. And when it comes to the budget for the strand 2 is between 400,000 and 800,000 euro for the whole consortium and for the whole duration of the project. And for strand 3 is between 800,000 and 1 million. What is important is that there must be a clear advantage for not associated partners, meaning Latin American partners in this case. So we have to identify areas where you think you might need support to develop or to increase your capacity for your university or for your country. The advantages is that this kind of collaboration would go beyond mobility only. So of course there is mobility embedded but that all these mobilities have to be functional to reach the objectives that you set to yourself. So it's not a project just to get grants, but the grants, for example, if you develop a new master program jointly with European partners, you can test it, for example, and have a number of mobilities for your students or for your doctoral students to go to the other side of the ocean and participate in their teaching. But also many other opportunities, and also for teaching staff or administrative staff to visit the partners. The advantage here is that there are other part of the program that are more focused on Europe, and we, the European partners, have experience in that. So we have already carried out this project because we also need capacity building sometimes. So we have developed a number, even completed a number of projects on specific topics, and we could easily now replicate those and adjust them to the needs of the Latin American partners. The thing is that we need project coordinators, because this is quite a time-consuming task, and we need to identify people who are actually really interested in doing this, and we cannot have always the same partners trying to coordinate all the projects that we might come up with. And as I said, typically in this type of project, we have between 6 and 10 partners. This is a size that is feasible. If we have a couple, 2 or 3, then most Magallanes partner might be in principle involved. And as I said, label these projects as Magallanes so that everybody the whole community takes advantage of it, and the network becomes more visible. And then we have the Erasmus Mundus Joint Masters. Since last year, now we are in the new phase. There's a 7-year phase for the new program. And this time, the big difference is that compared to the past, that it's easier for non-European partners to be involved as full partners. I'm not going to explain why, but now the minimum size of the consortium is 3 universities. In the past, it was mandatory to have 3 from Europe plus 1 from other countries if you want to. But the student had to spend most of the time at the European university, meaning that for the non-European university, it was hard to issue their degrees. Now it's possible, and students that are enrolled in these joint programs, newly created joint programs, can also spend a substantial period of time at a third country university, meaning Latin America in this case. And you will also be in the position of issuing your degree because students will spend enough time at your university. This is the full-fledged Erasmus Mundus Joint Master, meaning that when you apply, you already have to have a joint program fully developed with everything in place. You should be able, in principle, to launch it the day after you get the funding. So it's not for developing new joint programs, but it's actually to fund the mobility of the students and recruit students, because in this case, it's not addressed only to your students or the students of the 3 or more universities involved, but the main goal is to recruit students globally. So there is funding for scholarships of 1,400 euro per month for the students every year. In every edition of the program, you can expect between 25 and 30 students to be funded and distributed among the partners of the consortium. And for each student that your university hosts, you get 750 euro per month. So these are contributions to your organizational costs. And the Erasmus Mundus Design Measure, this is something that comes before usually, and it's new, before the Erasmus Mundus Joint Master, meaning that if you don't have already a joint program in place, you can use this action to fund the work that you need together with your partners to actually get there and create this joint master program. So this is a lump sum project with 1 coordinator, and it's quite easy to get, I heard. Meaning that you get 55,000 euro for a period of 15 months. 1 university only applies, but of course this university should already have in mind who the other 2, at least 2 partners should be. And in this case, it's very flexible. So even the reporting, it's very easy and lean, because you decide yourself basically what to do with this money. Usually it's to cover staff cost of people involved, program directors, administrators, and so on, and for travel costs for meeting and discussing all the aspects of the new joint program. So this being said, we came up with some proposals before summer, based, as I said, on existing projects at European level that are ongoing or that have already been completed. So here is the list. You have received it. Of course, this is non-exhaustive, meaning that any idea is possible. What is new with capacity building now is that in the past it was very strict with the priorities per country. Now there are general priorities, meaning that you have to come up with the idea and of the needs that you might have. And then, of course, the national authorities will be consulted by the Commission to see which project should be prioritized. But in principle, any idea or any field should be eligible. I actually didn't get much input from the, I can show now maybe the table we have online, which is this one that now I downloaded. We asked you to go in and express your interest as coordinator or as partner. There have been a number of universities that you can see here that expressed their interest in being included, but no one has volunteered as coordinator, and this can actually create some problems because it's difficult to proceed just with the partners and no one willing to coordinate. So we hope that from here to the General Assembly, some of you will volunteer. As you can see, we have Panama that has expressed interest, Javeriana, and UNAM, and Tec de Monterrey, among others, but mainly these universities. We need, of course, the Europeans as well. If you go on this, if you haven't received the link, you can ask me, I will send it out. Please go in and think about it. In the file, you also have a description of the project idea in 2 sentences. If you think it makes sense, that you can express your interest, and we will then discuss what to prioritize, how to prioritize it, and it all depends on how many of you will volunteer and how many of you will express their interest. There was also somebody who added, when it comes to Erasmus plus Erasmus Mundus joint masters, of course, here we need academics who are willing to build the joint program. This cannot be done top down. So you can check at your university if there are some active program coordinators who are willing to work internationally, who have already a master program in place and who are willing to expand it to an international level and get funding for student recruitment. The same for Erasmus Mundus design measures. But here somebody also added a project idea for Marie Sklodowska-Curie that doesn't belong to Erasmus+. It's more for researchers on the research side, but they didn't write their name or contact, so I don't know whose idea this was, but that would be inspiring others maybe. And this is also something that we might look into. We have experts in Horizon Europe as well in the group, but so far Magallanes has not looked into research collaboration opportunities. I know that Roberto is trying to do something in this sense. So if something is decided, finally, then we can also expand to the research programs. Please go on, look at this table and express your interest, because based on what you will say, then we will organize the session in Monterrey in November. And this was my last slide about what's happening next. And this will be this. So Sylvia's idea was that we can start, maybe we shouldn't be too over ambitious, We can choose maybe a couple of core project proposals to be submitted under the next call. But of course, we will need most of these to be in place already by November, not the application itself, but to have a clear idea of the composition of the consortium, the coordinator, the main objectives, and some activities to work around. So we will have a short session, I think, which will be a repetition of this one for those who haven't been to attend today, just to explain what we are why we are doing this and how we are doing this. This will be the briefing to the General Assembly, but then we will have also 1 or 2 sessions dedicated to this, depending on who will be available to steer the discussion. So we have a 90-minute session dedicated to this. If there are other experts or people who have experience in one or more of these program actions, then we might organize parallel sessions. If not, we will have to split this 90 minutes into 2 consecutive sessions of 45 minutes to look into the 2 proposals that we will be willing to prioritize. And as I said, it's about deciding about partners, coordinator roles, responsibilities, objectives, possible activities, and then plan for the future, meaning that we will not be able to write a proposal in 45 or 90 minutes. So we will have then to have a plan with those who volunteered to actually have something ready by February 2023. I don't know if Silvia wants to, we have 5 minutes left. Maybe you want to, I hope I said everything correctly about the general.
You did. Thank you so much. So they were asking here in the chat if we could share again the link, the original link that you were discussing, where people were like the projects were there and the partners were deciding if they were interested in one of the projects. So I think we can send it again. Several people, yeah, they said that they didn't receive it. We sent it to the official list of representatives of the network that we have. So if you currently receive the emails from Magallanes, you should have received that. That was sent directly by Mirko in that opportunity, but we can send it from the official mail from Magallanes in case, so everybody will receive it based on our database, on our mail list. So we will do so today or on Monday, so you can check to the projects. And as you said, Mirko, we will try to define 2 of those to start working on them. And the idea, which is always what Mirko was saying, is that typically we are running in the last minute trying to submit the proposals, and it's not a very convenient time in Latin America due to the holidays. So that always imposes like last minute stress levels for those in charge of submitting this proposal. So if we can start doing so during the General Assembly, like a hands-on activity right there, like sharing the responsibilities, etc., we think that we will increase the possibilities of complete the proposals and submit proposals. So we will definitely send the link. And I don't know if anybody has any questions to Mirko. We still have 4 minutes in our session.
I should also say that an advantage we have now compared to the past is that now no mandates from the partner universities are required at the moment of the application. So meaning that you don't have to run after your rectors during vacation time. And this can be done later if the project is approved. So at least for the formal steps, there is an advantage. But of course, we have to develop the contents and the whole.
I do have a question as usual, Mirko. So, so my question is then, from all that list, what is next? What, I mean, you already have a list of ideas, people that are interested. Of course, there is that part of no one wants to coordinate, which is maybe like a challenge for many of us. But then, are we going to actually then go ahead with any of these? when maybe we can start like meeting and actually then working on the proposal? What is next? That's my question. Before, of course, as Sylvia mentioned, mid-December, everyone goes on vacation here. And then, for example, in our case, maybe we are back the first week of January, but many professors, they come back then mid-January. So that's kind of like 1 month that is pretty much so quiet on campus. And emails, no one wants to answer an email.
Yeah, that's why we started now, this time. But the idea, I think, together, if I understood what Sylvia had in mind, we can now see who of you, we give you maybe 1 or 2 weeks to go again in this and express your interest. Hopefully somebody will be willing to coordinate. I forgot to say that actually maybe ISD is willing to coordinate some of these. I hope Denise doesn't get too scared about this, but
I'm not sure
idea.
It's the first time I'm reading the information in the file, so I must consult here my colleagues from IST.
Yes. And then I think we will take it up at the follow-up committee or in the follow-up committee and maybe identify 2 that look good and are ready to be pushed forward, depending on how many universities have volunteered or how many expressions of interest we have. And then it doesn't mean that it can be more, but then we need more experts who are willing to support the writing process.
I just want to mention just a comment. Now that I saw Denise there, hello, Denise. Actually, because in October we're going to have actually Mirko. That's why I won't be able to go to your activity there in Helsinki. I will miss it. I wanted to go, but actually then that week we are going to have the final meeting of the World Pendulum Alliance Erasmus Capacity Building project. That then Anna, Pipio, Horacio, all the groups from the University of Lisbon and Prague are coming down here. And so in one of those meetings, actually, then they were asking if we wanted to engage in another project. And now seeing the list that there are some things on STEM, maybe if you think, then I can check with them, because the other one was this pendulum network, right? So maybe it could be like something around that, right? So I don't know. I'm going to ask.
Yeah, the current list is just mainly my idea, so it's open. It doesn't mean that it has to be on those topics. If you have other ideas, please add them to the list so that the others can volunteer to participate or coordinate.
Good.
Any additional comments or questions to Mirko? Well, I think that we are ready. It's 9:01 around here, a little later there in the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. Thank you very much, everybody. We are looking forward to meet with all of you in November. As I mentioned, we are going to send 2 messages, one as a follow-up from this message, the information with the link that Mirko just shared, and the other one with all the information that has the preliminary agenda, information about the venue, information about accommodation for our General Assembly meeting in November. So it's always a pleasure to see you all, and I hope to see you all in Mexico. Thank you very much, and thank you, Mirko and Giselle, for wonderful presentations. Bye-bye. Ciao, Alberto. Ciao.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.